Is on apparently in Louisville now. Panic buying has begun, and the lines are expected to get longer and longer.
It was June of 1979, and the energy crisis of '73 was still fresh on everyone's minds. Truckers' take-home pay was being eaten alive by the rising cost of diesel fuel.
We got a problem, and it's everybody's problem. We prefer that you didn't buy it.
Independent truckers were most impacted, and they announced they had plans to strike. So people panicked.
There's no gasoline. It's ridiculous.
And headed toward the pumps.
It's been a little difficult, so waited in line about 45 minutes last night and got to the pump and they ran out.
And I had to come to Janestown. My husband said not to come home without gas.
Truckers who worked for the big-name companies weren't facing the same fuel challenges, but some started striking in solidarity. Others joined in out of fear of what could happen if they were caught in their trucks.
Are you fearful that you might get hurt out there on the road, somebody take a shot at you?
That's right.
I don't figure that a load of gas is worth my life or anybody else's life.
Once the shutdown was officially underway, chaos quickly followed. Big rigs blocking interstates in southern Indiana and entrances to Louisville's fuel parks.
The strikers simply parked their rigs on Southwestern Parkway near the Ashland entrance and asked other drivers not to enter the plant to pick up loads.
You can go in if you want, but I don't think we better.
After police were called, WHAS 11 cameras caught one trucker running from the scene, narrowly escaping. Another WHAS 11 crew caught this moment at the site of another protest across town. One man lighting a fire and nearly burning himself. And then serious trouble at a truck stop in Clarksville, where truckers used their semis to block the diesel fuel pumps. An angry driver vandalizing a semi, and then a gunshot. A truck stop manager saw it all.
Pickup truck pulled in. I seen a man jump out with an iron tool and start swinging it, and the next thing I know, I heard a shot. So we called the police.
No one was hit. We haven't been able to find a weapon at this time, but we have some witnesses to it.
Meanwhile, the situation at the pumps was only getting worse.
If you've been wondering why all of a sudden your neighborhood gas pump has suddenly run dry, it's because more than half of the gasoline normally delivered in the Louisville area, some 700,000 gallons, isn't being delivered. It's still in storage depots.
During the shortage, gas station employees were forced to expand their responsibilities, becoming not only sellers of fuel, but controllers of chaos, as irate customers waited in line for hours.
This is the third station I've been to.
I think people are very much overreacting.
And then it wasn't just panic at the pumps. It was panic about what wasn't being delivered.
This is Joan Gartland at Portsmouth Marine Terminal, where the independent truckers' strike is having an effect. A shipment of spent nuclear waste from Europe arrived at the terminal yesterday. It was to have been sent by truck to a nuclear waste site in South Carolina. But because of the independent truckers' strike, the Nuclear Regulatory Commission says the shipper of the waste, Transnuclear Incorporated, has been unable to hire a truck to ship the two metal casts to South Carolina. Terminal officials would not allow an Eyewitness News crew to see the shipment. But according to the officials and Susan Gagner, a spokeswoman for the NRC, the waste is being watched over by armed guards and will remain here until a truck can be found to take it to the waste site. Ms. Gagner says the waste here was used in research or testing and is not as potent as that used in industrial plants. Portsmouth Marine Terminals are scheduled to handle 60 shipments of nuclear waste before the end of the year. Joan Gartland, Area 10 Eyewitness News, Portsmouth.
I'm Ava Hurdle. Here at Frank's Truck Stop in Chesapeake, business has fluctuated between moderate and slow in the hours since the nationwide independent truckers' strike began at midnight. Truck drivers are protesting a number of things, primarily the high cost and shortages of diesel fuel in the last few weeks. They say that, coupled with the higher maintenance cost and load limitations that vary from state to state, are causing them to lose a whole lot of money. Many truckers pulling into Frank's today say although there have been reports across the nation about shootings, obstructions of fuel pumps, and nails on the road, so far that hasn't happened on Virginia's roadways or in the Tidewater area. On your way down here, did you run into any difficulties on the road?
No, I ran Pennsylvania 81 all the way down. The only place where I stopped to get a bite to eat was in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. You couldn't get no fuel there. Everything was blocked off, but they didn't bother you. You could go up and down the road, nothing was said, you know.
Other independents say they've heard numerous stories of possible violence, and one trucker for a frozen food company said he's almost scared for his life.
Yeah, sure am. That's why I stayed here last night. I didn't know whether that midnight strike was going to go off or not. So that's why I stayed over here. There's been snipers on the bridges and then cars running by you and trying to run you off of the road. That's about the main thing of it is. They could smash your truck down, they could replace it, but not us.
So far here in Tidewater, the strike has had little or no effect at all. Truckers we talked to say right now things are relatively quiet in Virginia and North Carolina. When asked if there would be blocked fuel pumps or even violence, one trucker we talked to said, "I just don't know."
Have you noticed that as everything around you seems to decline, one thing still grows? It is the power of your rulers. None of their plans and directives have solved your problems or made your life better. The only result has been their increased control over you at the cost of your freedom. Do you know why? You gave them the power.